Hey everyone, Corvus here. Welcome to the second installment here of the Triumph of Saint Catherine project diary. So in the first episode you see me assemble everything up to the point you're seeing now. So we're now starting off with the last figure, which is going here on the back. So the figure with the banner, and then we'll start working up with the cherubs which go on top. And then later in this episode we'll probably just take a look at all the parts. If everything is okay, there will be some gap filling here and here, and then we'll see how much footage we have, and then maybe in this episode or the beginning of the next one we'll have everything primed and go over the challenges we're facing. For example, which figures we're going to glue down, how we're going to hold everything while we're painting this, and also go over possible color schemes. I have some stuff in my mind currently. I'm most probably not going to follow the color scheme which is on the box art, because I really like it. I like the black armor a lot, but black is not the color I like to paint a lot. I mean, technically it's okay. My technique to paint black is quite okay, but just the kind of color that I don't like, it's black, and then you go with the edge highlighting and that's it. Just like to use more thin paint to do some shading and bring out a bit more contrast in a more fun way. So I'm currently looking at two options here, but we'll discuss that more in detail later in the video. I'm now working on the final figure, the Saint Sylvana. Just during the assembly, just wanted to show you the kind of ridiculous parts that come in this set. So this is her hand holding this, what is it? It's a pearl necklace. I mean, I know the Dutch word, but I don't know what it's called in English. This kind of pearl necklace that's used for to perform a prayer. I think it's something like that, or it's something, a pendant on a chain or something, whatever. But yeah, I still need to clean this part, of course, but just already wanted to show you how it fits this. Let me check the manual. That should be on there like this. This longer, sorry, it goes out of the frame. This longer piece should go here, and then the short piece here on the back should go there in some way, and then the wrist should attach here. So this is a ridiculous part. And also some mold line running along the side, most probably. So also very careful when cleaning this, that the pearls do not snap off separately. And then the other part I wanted to show you is just the hair that is separate on this one. So there will be, as you can see, there's already a bit of hair here. Let me check it out. There's no additional cape going on there, so you just need to put it on like this. Just to show you how, of course, it creates this incredible layered effect here. The face is really covered by the hair in a very three-dimensional way. But yeah, just the amount of crazy parts that come with this set is really, I mean, let me show you just the last page of the separate characters that I'm working on. So you see here the wrist with the necklace, the front part of the skirt already attached. This is the hair coming on, and then there's this backpack with this banner, which I very much like. But let's check on the sprue. This frame on top of the backpack is probably also mold line nightmare here on the side. Let me try to get that into focus. Yeah. So as you can see, these sides here, especially here, you can see it very well. Here in there's a lot of mold lines going on there. So yeah, final figure that's on the base, and after this I will start working on the cherubs and maybe some other things that are left. Yeah, really struggling with this necklace part here. Does not seem to fit at all. So basically these two chains need to meet here and here on the model, but I cannot seem to get them in the right angle to, I mean, the wrist has to go somewhere here, and then the shortest shortest fits, but then the longest there's still a gap there, so I'm maybe thinking that this was somehow bent or something, because it's not lining up at all, and I'm really struggling with this part at this point. So I'm going to try some more different ways to orient this. I mean, I had a good one a while ago, but yeah, something like this. But as you can see, when this lines up, then the wrist is like half a meter away, and terrible. So Saint Sylvana is done. Yeah, shown previously, had a bit of a struggle here attaching here the hand. So what I did was just with some tweezers, and then applying what I call the super glue plastic cement technique, which is documented on my channel. If I remember, then I will link it here in the description, and also top right corner you'll see a card pop up right now. But anyway, it consists of putting a bit of glue here on both sides, letting it cure for a bit, and that's what I did with the 3 contact points. So here on the necklace, and then on the wrist, and I just was really struggling to did not manage very well to get it in place when I was dry fitting. So I just said, yeah, come on, just put on the glue and then see what happens. So I put everything in place. I was bending this a bit because I had the impression that while cutting this from the sprue or cleaning, there was a bit of a bend here. This moved a bit outside, but anyway, I used this as a point to push this bit down, and in the first phase I made sure that the 2 contact points of the necklace, that they were touching, and then I was left with a tiny gap here on the wrist, but since the plastic glue was already cured, this bonded quite well. So when that was dry, then I just put down a little dot of plastic glue, and it covered up the hole. So at the end I'm pretty happy knowing how it was in the beginning. I just couldn't get this to fit. The only thing that's not really nice here is this piece here. There's a bit of strange bend in it, but I think even on an angle like this, it's not really showing. For the rest, it was pretty straightforward. I talked to you earlier about the hair. Then the book attachment of the book was also quite easy, and I'm now for the first time seeing the detail here. I'm wondering, I'll probably no problem reaching that with a brush to paint some freehand here on the inside. That's going to be very fun to do. And then I was faced with this part, which I showed you also earlier, which had quite some mold lines on there. So what I basically did was clean most of the outside. The inside areas, they're not really visible here. I did some here. These parts on the inside, I did some cleaning, the more straightforward, but yeah, going around this, I tried it, but it's not really very well visible, the mold lines there. And then last part that would go on there, which was this banner, which I decided to leave off at this point, because it is hooking here on the top. Here you can see these 2 supports is where the banner will go. And if this goes on there like so, you see that it's going to be very hard painting the backpack and the entire back of the figure, and also the back of the banner. So at this point I am leaving it off, and I'm probably just going to glue somewhere a tiny bit of sprue on here so I can hold it, or maybe just hold it like this with gloves while painting. But anyway, glue this on when everything is painted. So that's now the second separate part. The other one was the Saint Katherine shield. So these are 2 little things that will probably be painted separately. Working on the first 2 cherubs. Really like the way that this is coming together. The body was separate, and the heads which should be glued on, and then you have the wings here. Just noticing that this one is not really firmly in place yet. Have to add some extra. I don't know what happened here. I think I accidentally leaned my wrist on here or something, because I put it on the side, but probably not paying much attention, but that's okay. It just got loose, not enough glue in there at the first time, so just another dab of glue. Anyway, these wings were separate, and then this wing attached to the bottom of this little guy here with a piece that was on the wing of the first one, and then I'm facing currently this banner which neatly goes on here. The arms go on like this, as you can see. So it will be firmly in place with the necessary plastic glue, and as you can see, it's not really easily coming off at this point either. It's hooking in there, and then the second one is also holding something, this kind of an icon. Let me check the manual if this is going to be, no, it's just carrying it. It's not the stave or something, it's not the top of another construction, it's simply just carrying this icon. So that's this little duo of guys, and then this part attaches to the rest of the base. Let me check where this goes. Oh yeah, it attaches here to the back of the bed, let's say. Let's check that one. Here, yeah, that's here in the corner. Something like that. Goes together like this. Okay, we'll be pretty firmly. My biggest fear is the guys who are the sheriffs who are attached via this way. I mean, this is going to be firmly. There's enough surface to put down a good amount of glue. But these little guys who are holding on to the coffin here, to the bed, that's a different story. But we'll see how that goes later on. A bit different camera setup this time. Because yesterday evening I wanted to film the progress on the final parts of the assembly, but when moving this light, the switch snapped off, and I was also already a light that had some problems with the switch because they were not working. I had to just plug in and plug out. There's the socket, plug in and plug out the lamp to get it on, but now this snapped off and the lamp turned off, and I wasn't able to get that back on. So we're now morning the next day. There's some daylight coming in here, so just using this as an opportunity to show the final process I made yesterday evening. So these cherubs, I hope that this will be possible with the light we currently have. So the cherubs, final ones we have here. These two have been, this is the part that I showed you earlier, which goes on to the coffin there in the background. So this will go on pretty sturdy. The plan is to keep this separate. Maybe put some, after priming, put some cling film here on the bottom, and I can hold it like this while painting, or use some gloves. And then there's this smaller guy that goes here on the back part of the coffin here. Should go there. And then the third pair of cherubs, they go on here. And there's, I was a bit afraid that it was only attached with the arms, but there's quite some surface there to glue it on. So on the belly area of this little guy. So yeah, it's not the kind of miniature you want to transport quite often, but in the end, I think for display purposes, it's going to fit right into place. The other thing I did yesterday evening was filled up the gaps on these three. So you can see here on the shoulder, fill it up with some milliput. And this one was the most important one I wanted to cover. So here on the top, use some milliput to smooth that gap. And then this one also here on the shoulders. So what I'll do now, just have a look. I think I will be gluing these on bases. Where are, I think I had some separate, here, there's the drawer here. You can see plenty of bases here, maybe some of these old square ones. Just simply glue them on with this small part, maybe here in the slot or something, so that I can, maybe this is better, just with a small contact point of glue, put it down there with plastic glue, so it's quite firmly in place with the plastic glue, but I can snap it off quite easily after painting. So I'm just considering now to put them down here, glue them down, and then prime these. I'll show you the result after that. Hi guys, just cutting to this point of view, because I mentioned in the previous section, at the end of the previous section, I said, yeah, we're going to look at the miniatures, how they're primed and stuff like that, but in fact the next piece that I recorded a bit earlier than when I was recording this bit, the next step is already going to be some base coating in red, so I'd like to keep that for the next episode. So we're going to stop now at the end of the assembly. I think it's a great point to stop this second video here. So at the next video we'll continue with the primed miniatures, and which are already base coat. It will be the first shot of the next video. So for me this format is also new, so I'm getting used to, yeah, basically I'm just picking up the camera and setting it down and start filming. So, and then afterwards I gather all the pieces of film I have and then start editing. And I just noticed that I mentioned that in the next step there will be the primed miniatures, but I do not have a video on that, so we're moving straight on to the beginning of the painting. But like I said, that will be a great starting point for the next episode in the series. So I really like to thank you if you made it so far. And I hope I can see you in the next episode. So please, if you're not yet a subscriber, please consider doing so by pressing the subscribe button. Also, I would like to repeat that if you're interested in buying a set or anything else, you can follow the link in the description. It will take you to Element Games, where you can buy various Warhammer supplies, painting supplies at a good discount. 10-15% is not uncommon there. And also please use the code GR959 during checkout for double store credit. Hope to see you in the next video. Bye.